Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about the glass cannon build and the hybrid build. I'm going to start a little bit with the hybrid and then it's going to be heavily focused on the glass cannon. So first of all, why do we want to play hybrid / glass cannon? It's commonly admitted into the game that the first 12 tier of the game, the EHP build, so relying on tankiness, is scaling much better than the damage build. So for equivalent in EHP and damage, you are going to go further with EHP up to tier 12. And then after tier 12, so 13 and above, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, you will get much better results if you are heavily relying on damage and not relying at all on HP. So if you want to farm anything that is above tier 12, that is going to be useful. But not only if you want to farm it, if you want to unlock the milestone for the tier 13, so you see here there is a relic that is providing 10% of coin. Here it's 10% of damage. Here I can't remember, I think it's damage per meter. So there is some nice things that you will need to get and catch. If you want to get those milestones, having a tower that is built for damage is going to help you unlock those milestones. So that is going to be like a massive boost on free things that you can get, because even if you have not unlocked the pay ones, you get all the free rewards. And at some point on the video, I will show you how I run the glass cannon build. So you see here, I could try to get those gems because I stopped, I think it was like wave 996. But I think the one that I'm going to try to do with you is the tier 17 because it's not going to be very long. And I think I can go and get probably like the stone reward here. And eventually the gems. I don't think I will be able to do the 750, but potentially I think the stone is something that is doable. So the first question is, when do you start to transition to a hybrid build? Hybrid being that you rely both on damage and EHP, and when you completely switch to a glass cannon build. So if you are looking at the tournament, my answer is going to be heavily based on tournament, and this is quite obvious. The tier 11 plus is equivalent in terms of scaling to maybe like a tier 12, something similar. So in here, you are really within like this tight limit where you will need to have some damage. Otherwise, you are going to be killed by bosses if there is certain affix that are available. But really where you have clearly no choice is when you are reaching the tier 14 in Legend Tournament. This is where like the damage of the enemies are going to scale so quickly that you are not going to be able to do more than 250 wave in EHP. And if you want to go above those 250 wave, you will need to switch to a glass cannon build. So my recommendation for you is that if you are already in a champion tournament and you are capable of like reaching top 10, top 12 consistently in champion tournament, you should start to build an hybrid build. So when you are at some point reaching the tier 14, you don't start the tier 14 with just like an EHP build. You already have a basic for the hybrid build, which is going to be a smoother transition to tier 14. The second things that can be useful for the glass cannon is if you want to farm above tier 12, which is a strategy that I'm going to explain at the end of this video, because the requirement to do so is much higher than switching to a glass cannon build for a tournament. Starting with the research. I think research is probably like the easiest things that you want to start if you want to build a glass cannon build. And my point of view is that those three research here, damage, attack speed, and critical factor, they are the ones that are going to provide you the maximum amount of return of investment for a short amount of time. They are very short research to run. Like now it's like 7 days, but it's already level 73 or above 70. So for a very long time, you don't need a lot of time to build those damage, very basic research, and you have a very good return on investment. Like every time that you are completing a damage research, it's 0.02% that you get, which even at my level is close to 1% of total damage that I get from this research, which is pretty good. In comparison, if you want a super crit multiplicator here, it's going to cost you more coins, but you don't really care usually about coins like this when you are transitioning. But the problem is that the benefit that you will get is a fraction from the rest. Critical factor is very important in my opinion for two reasons. The first reason is that usually when you are transitioning to a glass cannon build, you have a good critical chance, and this is not even with my module that are glass cannon. So you'll be like around 90% on critical chance if you have the right substat. And the critical factor is the first factor that is going to be applied for the ultimate weapon. And because you have a high critical chance, then it's going to boost a lot the ultimate weapon that you have. So having this is very important. And the second thing is that you are going to use for glass cannon, you are going to use ultimate crit, which is adding a chance for you to multiply all the damage of ultimate weapon by the critical factor that you have. And every time that this is proccing with my chain lightning, I can see the boss health completely shrinking. So the critical factor is adding two benefits. The first one is the raw bonus that is going to add to you chain lightning when you are within a run, and the second one is the bonus that is going to be provided by the cards here, and I'm going to talk about cards a little bit later. So very, very good in my opinion to build the critical factor. Damage is speak by themselves, like you're trying to do a damage build, so you need to have damage. And attack speed, I think it has two benefits. It will control the mobs, preventing them from hitting your tower, and then also because you are going to rely on chain lightning, it scales directly with speed, attack speed. So you want to have a high attack speed, so you are capable of proccing a lot of chain lightning. So more attack speed mean more damage because of the chain lightning, and more control. So that's three things that are very easy to do, and this is where you should start when you are transitioning to a glass cannon build research wise. And you need to aim for very high. Like right now I'm building economy, and I will explain why later, but when I will feel comfortable with my economic base, then I will go back to those things and I will try to push them even further. Moving on to the ultimate weapon that you will need for a glass cannon build. To me, the first one that is the heart and the cornerstone of your build early on is going to be chain lightning. Chain lightning is doing a lot of damage. It's not relying on a cooldown, so it provides a constant DPS on the mobs around you, which is very good. And this is one of the things that I don't like about Smart Missile, is that it's relying on a cooldown and not you to attack. So Chain Lightning, I think, is way better. And what you want with Chain Lightning is you want to have a raw damage as high as possible, and you want to have good chance of proccing. So you see here, I don't even have my module. When I have my module on, I'm above 40% of chance. And the quantity, I would say it's okay, but it's not like the top priority. You can have like the first 2 clicks, but really like building the damage is super important. You want to have basic damage very high on Chain Lightning and a good amount of chance, but the priority should be damage, in my opinion, for Chain Lightning. That is your cornerstones, because this is what is going to deal damage. To give you an idea, when I do a run in champ tournament, that is dealing pretty much 90% of my overall damage is the Chain Lightning. So this is how important Chain Lightning is. Smart Missile, I will recommend not to invest anything in Smart Missile before a very long time, so disregard Smart Missile. Death Wave, it's becoming completely useless because you're not going to rely on the health from Death Wave. So I don't recommend investing in Death Wave if you are in the purpose of building a glass cannon build. Death Wave at this point to me is really an economical weapon that is going to multiply the coin that I'm getting from Black Hole and Golden Tower. The second piece that is going to be extremely important is the Chrono Field. And I can tell you, Chrono Field, there is such a big difference between not having it and having it. And when I say not having it, it's not having it 100% of the time. when you are in a tournament where literally any mobs one-shot you, you want to have a permanent chrono field. You cannot rely on GCOM, the Galaxy compressor here, to fill the gap on your chrono field. And I can tell you, when there is the affix that is reducing my chrono field, even if I'm using the Galaxy compressor, if I get 1 second off my chrono field, if there is like speed on monster, I get killed instantly. So my recommendation for you is you build your chrono field starting with a research that is adding 30 seconds on the duration, and then keeping up with the duration before you start the speed reduction. So you want to have the cooldown of 1 minute, you want to have the duration of 1 minute. Basically, you want to be having a chrono field that is permanent for the tournament. So permanent chrono field is very important. When your chrono field is permanent, you want to start building the speed reduction. And the idea behind the chrono field is not the damage reduction that this is going to provide you. It's really the control that is going to be affecting the mobs around you. So if I put my module that I use for tournament, I'm going up to 90% of speed reduction just for my chrono field. So what it means is that I reduce by 10 the speed of the monster. So even when they are boosted with like certain affix speed increase, or certain monster are boosted the speed if they are close to a speed, those kind of things that are very annoying. The fact that it's reducing just this is reducing 90% is massive for me. And if I getting my chrono field down for 1 second, as I told you, I get killed. Also, it's going to provide you more time to DPS the bosses, because that's the major difference when you are playing a glass cannon build. The bosses, they must be killed. You cannot rely on taunt to kill them. So you need to kill them with your damage before they hit you. So you having more time to have the boss DPSed is going to be very important. So chrono field to me is the second cornerstone of your glass cannon transition. You can start with just the duration and cooldown, and then slowly but surely ramping up the speed reduction and adding on your module the additional speed reduction. In a landmine, this is just like a small stun. It's not very useful, so I'm not going to talk about it. Golden Tower, I'm not going to talk about it. This is economical. Poison Swamp, it has an interest for farm, but not really for tournament, unless you invest massively into it. So I'm not going to talk about it. There is much more better things to do early on than Poison Swamp, in my opinion. Black Hole, it's irrelevant because it doesn't control the elite and the bosses, so you cannot rely on Black Hole. And then finally, talking about Spotlight. Spotlight is very important because this is what is going to multiply your damage, making sure that you are capable of killing the monsters. The problem with Spotlight is that it's extremely costly. To be reliable, you need to have a minimum of 3 beam with a certain angle. And even like this, you will see that the boss are going through it and still hit your tower. So you need at some point to move to 4 beams, but having 3 is like the minimum if you want to rely a little bit on Spotlight. The bonus that you see here is very important because this is what is going to be applied to all your damage. So you want to be sure that you have a good bonus. And actually, you see, it's one of the stats that I'm looking for, the bonus for Spotlight. I would like to have this as Ancestral because this is basically raw damage. So Spotlight is the third thing that you need to look into. First one being Chain Lightning. Second one, in my opinion, is the Chrono Field. And the third one is Spotlight. And this is going to take you a lot of time. But when you manage to get that, to me, you really have the combination that will allow you to perform correctly in Glass Cannon. Okay, moving on to your modules. There is some modules that you cannot avoid. They are so good that you just cannot avoid them. And there is one that you actually can change depending on your playstyle. So the first one that to me is not negotiable for tournament is the project funding. you see mine is not like very advanced in terms of substat because I don't need a lot of things. But the very important thing is this. Even at epic level, it was way better than my Galaxy compressor that was a mythic one, an ancestral one. So this project funding is the key module for your damage, even at epic quality if you want to build glass cannon. The only thing that you want on this module that is very important is the enemy health level skip, because you're relying on killing the enemies. If you are skipping health boost, that is going to help you. So that is the only thing that is extremely important. Things that are nice to have is a little bit of cash, because you rely on cash to have the bonus. And another thing that I like is free utility upgrade, because I want to, in tournaments, to increase passively my enemy skip. So having a little bit more utility upgrade is going to help me with this. But it's very, very not important. What is important is the enemy health level skip. The rest is just anecdotal. The second thing that you want, and this is non negotiable, is the dimension core. And the reason for that is, again, the unique effect. Now, Chain Lightning is going to hit 60% of the time the main target of your auto attack. And this is massive for bosses, because as the boss is going to charge your tower, you are going to attack the boss. If you don't have this module, you're not going to deal any damage to the boss with Chain Lightning. And this is a big problem. Using this module, you are going to deal damage to the boss, will allow you to kill the boss, hopefully before you reach your tower. The second thing that is amazing is the shock chance and multiplicator is doubled. So shock chance is around 10%. It can go a little bit higher, but like 15, 20 maybe. But doubling it, it makes that you have almost 30% chance of shocked. And instead of 1.6, I think it gets to 3 times the damage. And this can stack up to 20. So you're adding a multiplicator for all the damage that are going to be applied to the target, that is 20. And multiplicator, the more you have them, and the better it is. You don't want to move from multiply by 20 to multiply by 25. This is not a big deal. But when you have multiply by 20, multiply by 2, multiply by 1.5, multiply by 6, this is where you get big damage. So especially for the Dimension Core, like you don't need to have an ancestral. Like already a legendary is doing a very fine job for this. The only problem with legendary is going to be the substat that you're not going to have the quality that you want. But even the legendary is going to be very cool, even an epic one. The substat that you want, in my opinion, is the Chain Lightning chances. This is going to be important. If you have a very good spotlight bonus is going to be good. If you have a good chrono field, you also want to have the speed reduction, as I explained, and the spotlight angle. So this is to like balance the fact that if your spotlight is not great, then potentially you have a little bit more angle. Ideally, if I have an amazing spotlight, I will remove the spotlight angle, but it's not my case yet, so I'm using spotlight angle. Chain Lightning quantity is also good because you're relying on Chain Lightning initially. You want to hit as many targets, but this is secondary. I think the most important one is the Chain Lightning chance and the chrono field speed reduction, because this is really like your cornerstone. Moving on to the defensive module, and the defensive module, the best one is the ACP. And the reason for that is that it's going to apply an extra multiplicator to the crowd, and this is with the shockwave. So even at the beginning it provides this multiplicator and it's completely okay. You're not relying on health, so even if you have a crappy one, it's going to do the job because you just want an extra multiplicator. You don't want shiny substat. Actually, the things that are interesting are the shockwave frequency, the Death Defy, and I will explain why Death Defy is so important in glass cannon, and potentially the shockwave size. The rest, you don't really care. What you want is really the shockwave frequency and Death Defy. The reason I recommend Death Defy in Glass Cannon is because the way the game is working is counting Death Defy before the energy shield. So potentially your Death Defy is going to save an energy shield stack. Like you see right now, you see this enemy, the protector, is clearly going to my tower and is hitting my tower twice, and I haven't lost a single charge of energy shield because I proc twice Death Defy, and this is going to help you to keep a little bit higher the stack of your energy shield. So it's a stat that I consider is very valuable for Glass Cannon. Now the last one, I think there is two things that are viable. The easiest one is probably the death penalty. Death penalty is going to reduce by 15% the number of monsters that you need to deal with by just one-shotting them. And that can apply to elites, that can apply to boss. So it's potentially very good. What I don't like with death penalty is that it's random, and I don't like random. I like something that is more secure and more reliable. And what I really like with this module is the fact that you have an increased range on your burn shot that will allow you to proc your chain lightning from further. And if you proc your chain lightning from further, you have more chain lightning, so more damage overall. And this is synergizing very well when you have the Spotlight Plus that I'm going to talk about it later. You want to hit the enemy from as far as possible, so you deal a lot of damage to everyone and not just removing 15% of your enemy. I believe this is better in the playstyle that I have than just taking care of 15% and not doing as much damage for the rest. In terms of the substat that you are looking for, mine is decent but not optimal. The best you want is attack speed, critical factor is the number 2, and mine is not ancestral. Critical chance is the number 3, and I don't have it. Super critical chance is the number 4, and the number 5 is super crit multiplicator. It comes last because you have a low percentage of chance of hitting a super crit chance, so increasing this doesn't really matter if you have a low percentage chance. So this is like last in the priority, while critical factor is applying to a lot of your attacks, and it's also applying to the ultimate weapon that's cards that you have, the one that I showed just before, this one, ultimate crit. So it's very good, to my opinion, the critical factor. So that's a little bit of miss. When you are looking at my second one that I will a little bit later, I started with attack speed, critical factor, critical chance, and in the last one I hit critical multiplicator instead of the chances, but I'm not using this one. I would potentially like reroll that if I wanted to use it, but I'm not using it. Just a quick note on the Amplify bot. I think it's a great way to also get some bonus damage, because by default you get a nice bonus from the bot. It's very easy to get time for, and every time that he's popping is going to clean a certain area. So I think the Amplify bot for Glass Cannon is pretty good. Start with the range. It's the same thing for the other bot. Range is king here, and then eventually you do a little bit of the bonus. The rest you see I haven't touched it. Maybe I will touch it later on when I'm doing the research as well, but right now I just have something we had a bit range and a bit bonus, and that's all I need for now. Switching to the cards, so the setup that you see is for tournament, and it's important that I explain that it's for tournament, and one of the reasons it's difficult to farm with Glass Cannon, it's because you need a lot of cards to farm with Glass Cannon. Already with tournament I'm using 16, and 16 are useful, and if you want to farm you probably need more because there is all the coins and the critical coins and so on. So that's why I think it's complicated to farm early on with Glass Cannon build. So obviously you want to have damage, attack speed, extra orb. Plasma cannon is always good because bosses are a major threat, so you want to be able to deal with them. Demon mode, so you can go a bit further. Energy net, that is becoming extremely important. You want to hold the boss so you have more time to DPS it and you have more time to kill it before it hits you tower. Death Ray, this is helping you with the mass mobs that are going to spawn, so it's killing some of them. Energy Shield is a cornerstone of your build, because if you get chip or if you get hit once, then eventually your Energy Shield is going to save you. Is going to save you, and is going to proc the Berserk that we will see just after, and is boosting your damage. Second Wind for tournament like this is very good, so you know when you start lacking a bit of damage, and when this is finished you can activate the demon mode so you can go a little bit further. The free upgrade at the beginning, Berserk is completely key, range is key so you have more control, critical chance, obviously ultimate crit, cash that is going to be replaced by at the end by landmine stun, potentially that can be an option. And then slow aura to add an extra slow within the range of your tower on the top of your chronofield. So this is my recommendation. You see there is already 16 cards, and if you want to farm, you will need to add the coin, you will need to have the critical coin, you need to have wave skip, you need to have wave accelerator. So you see that's already 4 cards, that's going 20. And 20 is a lot of cards, so it's not something that you can do early on. And that's why, to my opinion, it's difficult to farm in Glass Cannon. You can argue that there is some stuff that you can remove, such as the range eventually if you are farming. That's true, but still you will need to have at least 18/19 cards to be able to make it work. So that's one of the constraints that you have with the Glass Cannon build. If you have unlocked the vault is the tree here, and basically to unlock the vault you need to be able to get at least top 15 once in the legend tournament. When you get to top 15 once in legend tournament, you will start earning the legendary keys that you see here, and that will unlock the vault. So the vault has 2 tabs, one which is called the harmony and is more, I would say, quality of life and farm, and one which is called power and is going to be useful for your Glass Cannon build, more useful. On harmony, the things that are potentially interesting to go further into the tournament is if you go straight up. So this is just like discount on enhancement and discount on module reroll, and if you go up to the very top here, so that's 80 keys to go here. That's a lot. You have this thing here which allow you to adjust the range on your orb workshop. So not only on the free orbs that are provided by your cards, you will be able to unlock the range adjustment for the orbs from your workshop, where you can go much higher, because with farm run you have the perks that allow you to have 2 more, and also in your module you can roll here additional orbs. I think it starts with the mythic quality, it's +1, and ancestral quality as a second one. And what you want to do with this potentially is to adjust the range of the orbs so they hit the boss when it is within the energy net. And because you have in general more workshop orb that you have on the cards, you are going to hit the boss way more, because you are going to have both the cards and the workshop orbs hitting the boss. Combined with the research on the defensive research on the orbs boss hit, that is removing 2% of HP of max HP of the boss. If you have orb speed quite high, this can be a viable strat, in my opinion, for a tournament. I have not done that strat. I will do it at some point, but I have not done it. Instead, what I did is I went to the vault and I went to power and I started here. 5% boost to my ultimate weapon damage. This is very nice because it's just raw damage. Then I went straight up, and then I took the 1% critical chance, and then what I want is the 5% boost of damage. Right now, because I'm working on my economy, I went and I took the 5% boost of coins, but that's not needed. If you want to go just for damage, you want to go here, and then you want to get the super crit chance, and here you get the enemy health level skip, which is also nice. Going up, you get the boost to ultimate weapon damage, and then further up, I don't know because I'm not being there yet, but there is a lot of things to unlock that I think are going to be important. And here I think there is like an extra orb. Yes, you get plus extra orb here. There is a lot of things that are amazing in this vault. It's just that getting those keys is super slow, so you take time to just build your way through. But for the vaults, there is those two things that you can do if you are looking into improving your tower performances for glass cannon. Okay, so everything that I showed you is where I am right now, and you see with my setup I'm capable of in general doing at least 600 wave. Like you see, it's been a while that I'm doing 600 wave. Like recently, yesterday I did a little bit more, but like 600 wave is something that I can do with my setup, and it's been a while that I'm not investing into damage and I'm focusing into economic, and I will explain why just after that. Just before we are moving to this part, I wanted to give you an idea of what happened when you reach Legend for the first time. So you see me, it was in December 2024, so I did something like 867 wave. I've been lucky, and then I end up second in the tournament, and I get promoted to Legend, and my first trials I do 58 wave. Then I go back to champion, I do 900 wave, and then 60 wave. So you see, this is the idea, is like at the beginning when you are going to move from champion league, when you are capable of doing more than 100, 800 wave, 900 wave, if you are reaching Legend with an EHP or slightly hybrid build, you are going to do less than 100 wave. You are going to be killed extremely quickly. And you need to build this glass cannon to be able to survive in Legend. So for a while, I was not even trying in Legend. I was just like demoting. And you see here, I'm demoting, but I'm doing 1,200 wave in champion. Huh? And then after I was able of doing almost 1,350 wave in champion, I went to Legend again, and I was doing 162, but still getting demoted. I was like 27. Same thing, 150, 180. So that was like still getting me demoted. And you stop being demoted when you are going above the 200. The 200, I mean, at my time in March, was really like the area where most of the time you were just above the cutoff level not to be demoted. Like you see 24, 23, and you get demoted 25. So here I get demoted once. I go back in champions, do almost 2,000 wave, and then that's the last time that I hit champion, and then everything after is Legend. So now I'm doing 600 wave, a little bit more, and I'm constantly getting keys. So depending on the pool that I am ending up, I can get more or less keys. I'm not a big fan of looking at rank because this is there is such a big volatility on rank. You get an easy pool, and then you get a very high rank, and then you get a bad one and you get very low one. I'm much rather looking at the wave that you are capable of doing, because that is giving you a better idea of how much you can deal with it, knowing that certain affix is going to nerf you more than others, but overall it's supposed to be quite consistent on wave. Okay, so from this point on, it's not something that I have done. It's more my next step and how I see the future of my tower. I'm going to try to share with you my vision, but I have not done it yet. So if you have already done it and you realize that I'm saying something that is wrong, please let me know into the comments. But this is the vision I have, but I have not executed it yet. So potentially what I'm saying here is going to be less accurate than I'm usually say. that being said, I'm going to take to the next part, and this is the reason why I've been switching to economy recently. So if you've been following me for a while now, you know that my tower, and that's why the tour of my tower is called My Tower is Weird, is to the contrary of a lot of people, I was not investing a lot into the economical weapon as such, Golden Tower, the Black Hole, and the Death Wave. And the cooldown I had was not really good. The duration was pretty average, so I didn't have great economical weapon. And instead, I was dumping all my stones into Chain Lightning because I wanted to do better in tournament. Now, since I would say at least a month, probably more, like 6 weeks minimum, I would say, I am now dumping everything that I can into the economical weapon. And the reason for that is the Card Masteries. So now I have unlocked the Card Masteries. This is something that you unlock in tier 16, the research associated with that. And basically when you have all your cards that are at maximum level, including the epic ones, you unlock the Card Mastery. And to unlock the Card Mastery, you need to spend a little bit of stones, and you are going to unlock the bonus of that you have underneath. And you see here, I get 40% increase damage just by spending 750 stones. I mean, 750 stones is a lot of stones, even for me. That takes me a while to farm, but 40% of overall damage is massive. And why do I need coins is because when I do so, I will get a research that is going to pop into my lab that will cost 1 quadrillion coins and will increase every level that I do by 40%, up to a maximum of, I think it's 5 times. And the research price is going up to 10 quadrillion. So basically, when you want to start doing a mastery ability, you will need a shitload of stones and a lot of coins. So right now, I'm working on my economy so I can get some coins. I mean, enough to start doing the first level of the research. And this is to me the next step that will allow me to go further into the tournament wave. So the 1.4, but also the associated research for it. The second thing that I'm considering heavily is this one, the Super Tower, that 35% of the Super Tower bonus is also going to increase the ultimate weapon damage if I unlock this, which is massive because now not only it multiply the damage of my Chain Lightning, it also increase the multiplicator of my Spotlight, making it one of the best cards to master for damage. The problem is that initially you just have an uptime of 50% because you have 30 seconds cooldown, 15 seconds duration, and the cooldown starts when it procs. So there is 15 seconds out of 30 that it is active. And every time that I'm going to do a research, it's going to reduce the cooldown by 3 seconds. So at level 5, from what I understand, and if you know this, you can leave me a comment because maybe this is not accurate, but at level 5, I get 15 seconds cooldown reduction, so I have an uptime of 100%. That's how I understand it. And the first 5, they are doable, I think, on a short term. So that's another thing that I'm aiming at, the Super Tower. Another thing that potentially I will aim at for damage is Demon Mode. And Demon Mode is pretty good because when it activates, you will get a buff of damage for 300 wave. And this is pretty nice because 300 wave is the number of wave that Demon Mode is going to recharge if you have the research for recharging Demon Mode to the max level. Meaning that when you start activating your Demon Mode, you get a massive bonus of damage that is going to increase with research. And then when this bonus fade off, you have Demon Moon that is back, so you can reactivate it, you get invulnerable a little bit more, so that allows you to go further into the wave. So that's another thing that I'm considering it for damage. That's the 3 things. There is a lot to say about Card Masteries. I'm not going to say everything today about Card Masteries, but that's the top 3 things that I'm looking for damage, and that's potentially why I will need a lot of coins in the future. So building a strong economy makes sense now where I am, and I'm doing it now only because I know that in general I can farm keys. So you see here I get keys, so slowly but surely I start building my vault, and I wanted to make this switch to economy only when I started to get keys, so I don't waste too much time into doing poorly in tournament, in legend tournament. I don't get the keys, but I'm building my economy, but I don't need, I cannot use the economy into my cards because I don't have them. So it wasn't making sense for me, but now I start doing so, and that's why I'm switching to economy for this reason. The last point that I've not unlocked yet, but is going to be very useful, I mean I started to unlock but not for the damage, is the Ultimate Weapon Plus. So when you have the 9 Ultimate Weapon, you will have something that is happening at the bottom here, and the first unlock is going to be 500 stone, the second Ultimate Weapon Plus is 620, and it goes like this as increasing. You see the first one I unlock is the golden combo, and the golden combo is boosting my economy. I focus on economy, so this is important for me. I think the second thing that I'm going to unlock is light range, and what it does is that it's going to boost my base bonus of spotlight by the damage per meter that I have, so making this boost here scaling on range, which is going to increase drastically my damage. I've seen some people, they have a bonus that go up to 200, so that's completely insane. So I think this is going to be the next one that I'm going to unlock, and then after you have to put some stones to get a better bonus, like it's 0.01, I guess it's 0.02 at level 2, etc, etc. And then the third one that I strongly consider is Chrono Loop. Chrono Loop is going to add a rotation to the enemy. So when I have my enemy that arrive, instead of being just slow down, they will start rotating around my tower, making them do even more distance before they reach my tower, which will allow me to have more time to DPS them, which is going to help me tremendously in tournament as well. So that's the 3 that I'm considering, but I have not unlocked them, so I'm not sure this is the best move, but that's the one that I have in mind that I think are going to be good for what I'm looking for. On the very, very long term, I think if you are looking to farm, I have seen some people doing really great with Poison Swamp, extremely high level, with like a max duration, max cooldown, and some great damage, and the death creep here that is increasing per tick the damage that the Poison Swamp is doing. But I think this is even further in the glass cannon build. So right now I'm not going to work on this, but maybe at some point I will. This is food for thought. That's all what I had for you today on glass cannon. I hope that I've been able to answer most of the questions that I usually see on my comments. If you have a question that I didn't answer, or specification and precision that I didn't say into my video, don't hesitate to write them down below into the comments. If this video has been useful, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I see you on the next video.